Hi everyone, I'm Aurora Light of Joy Evolution, and I wanted to come in with a July energy interpretation because this 2020 July is gonna be, as every month of 2020 has been, a little intense. I'm sure we can all feel that there's not going to be any relenting to the intense energies. So I have a few themes that come up when I've been tuning in not only to my own energy field, to my own higher self, that visionary perspective that we all have when we connect with our multidimensional self and creator self from those higher levels, but also when I'm looking at what is coming through with the astrology and with what other beings of light that I resonate with are saying, and when I can feel those truths coming through as resonant in my soul and in my body, and I'm able to discern them as true. So I am wanting to share this energy interpretation rather than an update because it is just what is true for me. And truth is going to be one of those things, one of those themes that's for July, as well as freedom, emancipation, sovereignty, and space. So there is a whole lot of different levels and layers on the planet right now, and different waves of people experiencing things differently at different times, developing at just their own pace, and noticing that we're all going through things differently. Although we are moving in the same reality, we're almost not. There are an infinite number of truths depending on our perception, and that is based upon our belief systems, which are based upon every experience we've ever had. So we're going to touch more on truth later, but I want to say that this energy interpretation and update is really for those who are the way showers, the visionary leaders, those that are anchoring in to the highest levels their energy for the consciousness of humanity to be elevated to that. So this is not for the average Joe. This is for those who are able to see into where it is that we are going, the visionary leaders of New Earth. So if you're watching this, that's you if you haven't shut it off yet. So you, as a way shower, leader of tomorrow, are anchoring in the thoughts and feelings and beliefs to the collective that you cannot look around the world to see. You are on the leading edge. So we're going to be needing to go within to discern more and more truth, because there is still going to be a lot of misinformation and a lot of distortion happening in the outer world. Surprise, surprise, that's not going away right away. So our bodies are going to be the heralds of our own truths. So a really big part of this month is for our bodies to start feeling more and more free. Freedom to feel how it is that we are feeling in this moment, and for ourselves as conscious beings who have this divine feminine and divine masculine, like we talked about back in May, to hold space for our bodies, for our inner child, for all of the feelings that we have to be felt fully, because there is a lot of grief, a lot of trauma, and things that are coming up for us to hold space for lovingly with compassion. Not only is there the collective sort of dismantling and chaos of the systems that we're in, the pandemic, the riots, all of that coming to light, all of that being shaken up, it's a lot for the nervous system. So we are free now, and we are unlocking this ability to connect with the deepest part of ourselves, and also the most expanded parts of ourselves, our higher selves. These levels and layers are infinite, and we are, especially through June and into this first part of July, in the process of unlocking who we really are and how deeply we can connect with our multidimensional self. So that means all of our past, present, future, and parallel lives, not only as Earth incarnations, but on the more galactic scale, connecting with our soul star family, connecting with our higher levels, the master levels, the angelic levels, source creator itself. To know intellectually that we're part of creation, that we're a fractal of that infinite creator consciousness is one thing, but we are now free to start embodying that and be the divine creators that we are, that are playing in these forms. So we have a lot of limiting beliefs that have been holding us into who we have been. And now these freedom codes are coming in really strongly this July, and it happened last July as well, for us to remember who we really are. We're awakening even further to our infinite potential and remembering that we are more than just these bodies, right? And we've known that for a long time, but we're unlocking our actual physical body's ability to experience the soul within it. So that means a lot of density needs to be cleared out. So we are going to be free to go through this process with more grace and ease this month, because we're kind of settling in to this pandemic world where things are not as they have been, but the adrenaline of it all being new is kind of relaxing. So relaxing the nervous system to be present with what is a big part of it, because more is going to be coming up, especially this first week of July, where we go through the full moon and the next lunar eclipse, which is happening on July 4th, Independence Day in the States, where more and more freedom codes are coming through. And this is our emancipation from basically the programs that have been in society, that have been telling us who we are and what we're capable of doing, when none of that is actually truth. We have not been told the truth about who we are, except in small little pieces. Some mystics have known, and people have always been saying it, been in the collective consciousness, we're just a man, or I think therefore I am, I'm this body. But really, we are being emancipated of that old program of separation from who we really are. And you'll see this at the personal level starting to come in and unravel as we start to get more and more glimpses. What I'm hearing from everybody is that they're having more experiences with their guides and different beings of light, the Galactic Federation. All of these beings are coming in to speak more and more, because the veil is thinner. So we're starting to really feel that. But when we look around on the global level, this emancipation is happening when we are no longer able to keep all of the separation anymore. When people are in these sort of tribal color or religion or country based us versus them mentalities, then we're being kept separate, not only from each other, but from who we really are, which is this oneness that is differentiated out into these different bodies, right? So we are seeing on the physical level the emancipation starting to accelerate, right? Where we are no longer allowing in the collective prejudice, racism, sexism, other kinds of prejudice. Like every oppressed movement is going to have its turn to be illuminated, focused on, and letting the old wounding and the trauma be seen, felt, and heard. So space is a big part of this month as well, where we are being asked to hold space for ourselves and for the world to go through these collective grieving processes, and to hold space for the feelings as they arise and allow them to be what they are. Because we're not only cleaning out our personal lives, the collective lives, but all of the lives, multidimensionally, everything you've been, have been in the past, in your lineage and in your soul's DNA, that's coming up too, to be cleaned. And I'm going to say there are so many ways that you can support your body through this. So tune in to what feels most resonant with you. You may need to find support from others. You might be getting support from your guides. I will just share that I always need support from others when I'm going through the deepest things. Friends, family, mentors, guides. There are so many space holders available in so many modalities to support us through this. Creating the space within us to know is part of how we really align with the truth of our soul. So when we have space and a pause before we're reacting to anything, then we give ourselves grace. So the fastest way you can do that is to come back into your heart, and even just one deep breath. You can do it with me now. starts to relax the nervous system. Feel that alignment? That's a tool you can come back to over and over again. And yes, you will forget. Yes, you will come up against something when you are tired, when you are hungry, when you are just being buffeted by energy. And then you get to give yourself the compassionate space to rest, to go within, and to see what it is you need to offer yourself. No one else can give it to you. You have to go to yourself first and see what it is you need. If you can give it to yourself, amazing. And if your own soul guidance is saying, go to so and so, seek help, what have you, then you've gone through your own soul's essence and your body resonance first, which is the most important thing, as we are sorting out truth. Truth as a whole right now is still very fuzzy in the physical, because there's a lot of distortion and misdirection, miscommunications, both on purpose and just because the energy is so interesting, and due to the fact that there's so many different layers and levels of perception. We have infinite truths based upon our perception, but the higher visionary you go, right up to source creation, the more whole all of the truths become. And that's what we are creating the space for, is to be moving from us versus them, black versus white, this versus that, into encompassing the wholeness, that we can have this diversity of experience and still be one. So this is the process, the shaking up of all that is keeping us separate and bringing it into one cohesive unity, but only that which is true. All of the distortions are falling away. They're being dismantled, but they're not going so easily, right? These processes do take time. They do take energy. So allowing yourself the space and the grace to find discernment in your body is going to be key this month. So you are invited to do that in the way that feels the most aligned. A practical action step that you can feel is first getting into your body, relaxing your nervous system, and then noticing how you are feeling. Do you feel expanded or do you feel contracted? Because the truth with a capital T, from spirit, from your own spirit, because everybody else's truth is going to be different too, is going to feel peaceful and expansive and resonant in your body. Let your body be the guide. They are wise, and we are shedding all this density so they can become even wiser, and our souls can come and play in our bodies as we elevate our frequency of consciousness and physicality. So we are really, as our soul comes into our body after we shed this density, this old programming, and it's an ongoing process, we're coming into another theme, which is sovereignty. Now, that does not mean rule over another, like one of the definitions. I am talking sovereign over self. So really being in alignment with your own truth, and that you are the creator of your own reality. And this is based upon your perception. And some people do not yet have this sovereignty. And so their truth is based upon other people's truths, which is a distortion. That's an exertion of inappropriate power. So if you are one who understands that you are a creator, a sovereign being who has your own reality matrix that you are projecting in based upon your thoughts and feelings, we have to take the aligned action in whatever ways that means for you to support the emancipation of all those who are still being programmed by others. So that might just mean anchoring your light as brightly as it can, speaking out when you see a wrongdoing, when you see somebody exerting their power in inappropriate ways. These are all ways that we can start to shift into the new earth today. We must be working with each other. It cannot be, like just us versus them at all, because that's not how we're going to where it is we're going, which is in unity. So we are rising together. And that means that the consequences for being out of alignment, whether energetically and within yourself or within your actions, thought, words, and deeds, are going to be amplified this month as time is accelerating. Our elevation of frequency is getting higher and higher. So that means manifestations are kind of more instant. So it means that good deeds will not go without reward. And I don't want to say bad deeds, but things that are out of alignment things where people are being inappropriate with others, when people are using their power in ways that are harming other people, that is going to have consequences that will be reflected more quickly. So it is really important to give ourselves, as I was saying, that space and grace to figure out what we need in this now, give ourselves everything we need so we can stay in alignment, and then we can step into the world with those thoughts, words, and deeds in alignment with our highest truth and our highest self. Because if we don't, we're just adding to the chaos. So I want to offer you just that reminder that you are this beacon of discernment with your own body. Let your body be the barometer. Maybe you'll get truth bumps. Maybe you just have these feelings. Follow those feelings, follow your heart. And if they're leading you into a space where you don't feel safe in your body, that's trauma and overwhelm that's stuck in there that needs to be loved, to be felt, to be heard, to be felt safe, so it can be released, so we can be ready to move into these higher levels and states with our bodies coming along for the ride. So we are free to really connect into who we really are and to allow the old stories to start to go into the ethers after they have been loved. So it's not going to support us to hang on so tightly to what things have been in the past. But we do need to honor and love all of the feelings and the wounding and all that has been hurt by the old stories, by the old processes, and give it all of the love it's ever needed so it can feel safe to move into this next stage of the journey. So please be well, my friends. Take gentle care of yourself and give yourself so much love, more love than you've ever given yourself before. And then you can be that love out in the world. And we can take and elevate our consciousness to the next level where we have access to so much more of our infinite potential. That is our joyful evolutionary journey. It is not an easy one, but it can be a lot of fun. The more aligned you are with who you really are, the more fun it will be. So sending you so much love, so much light, and I'll see you next time.